It was supposed to be just another tech summit, a stage full of minds, egos, predictions, and applause. The lights were cold, the audience was warm, and everyone expected the usual ideas: ambition, polite disagreements, until Keanu Reeves spoke, until silence fell, until the air changed. It was the Global Mind Summit in Los Angeles. Final panel of the evening, broadcast live on major networks, live streamed across the world. The audience: billionaires, students, dreamers, deniers. Elon Musk sat at the center of it all, calm and calculating. Wearing his trademark smirk, like armor, he leaned back in his chair like he owned the stage. Because in some ways, he did. To his right was a man who, at first glance, didn't belong. Keanu Reeves. No tech firm, no agenda, just presence. A quietness that made people lean in. The host introduced them both with energy. Two minds, two worlds. Innovation meets imagination. Laughter scattered across the room. Polite, unsure, Elon grinned. Keanu nodded. The questions began. AI, space, ethics. Musk answered, with speed and certainty. We'll colonize Mars in 10 years, if the bureaucracy doesn't slow us down. The biggest threat to AI isn't the machine. It's bad data and worse regulation. He spoke like a man certain the future belonged to him. Keanu listened, patient still. The host chuckled. Keanu, you're being quiet. Any thoughts on uploading consciousness into a neural net? Keanu looked up. Why are we trying to escape being human? The room stilled. Musk smirked. It's not about escaping. It's about evolving. Keanu nodded slowly. But if you evolve into something that forgets empathy, was it evolution or extinction? The silence was heavier this time. Musk chuckled. You can't scale the future with feelings, Keanu. You can't build the future without them either. The audience shifted. Whispers, phones lifted. The host tried to smooth things over. Okay, let's play Futurecast. It's 2045. We've landed on Mars. AI controls the cities. People live, half in virtual worlds. What's the biggest threat? Musk answered first. The biggest threat: fear. People too afraid to move forward. The past is the enemy of innovation. The host turned. Keanu, he didn't rush. His eyes scanned the room. The biggest threat is forgetting what matters. Kindness, connection, the little quiet, things that can't be coded. Musk leaned forward. This is why artists shouldn't run companies. And this is why companies shouldn't run humanity. The audience froze. Not because the words were loud, but because they were true. Musk laughed. You think the world can afford to slow down for people's feelings? Billions of people need power, food, medicine. Efficiency saves lives. Keanu looked at him. Not angry, not afraid, just clear. Efficiency without soul creates machines, not miracles. A pause. You want to go to Mars? Fine. Just don't leave your heart on Earth. It landed like thunder in a vacuum. The host fumbled to cut to commercial, but the cameras were still rolling, and the world was already watching. The commercial break ended, but the tension died in single quotes. The audience was quieter now, leaning in, watching, not a panel, but a storm slowly forming between two very different men. The host tried to regain control. Let's move to the next topic: digital governance. With AI growing rapidly, who should make the rules? Elon Musk didn't hesitate. Governments are too slow. Corporations build faster, smarter. The people building the tech should shape how it's used. Otherwise, we get stuck in the past. Keanu didn't blink. Power without checks becomes abuse. Musk raised an eyebrow. Do you want innovation or not? I want innovation that doesn't trample humanity to get there. Laughter echoed from the back of the room. One of Musk's associates, Elon, smirked. You want to protect humanity with poetry and feelings. I'll protect it with real-world solutions. Keanu leaned forward, voice calm but firm. Real-world solutions that devalue human life aren't solutions. They're shortcuts to collapse. The moderator tried to interrupt. Keanu didn't stop. You talk about saving the world, Elon. Who gets saved? The richest, the loudest, the most useful. Musk's smile faded just a little. We can't save everyone, Keanu. That's not how the world works. Keanu's reply came like a knife made of light. Then maybe it's time to change how the world works. Musk shifted in his seat. His posture tightened. You're an actor. You pretend for a living. You don't build things. You don't fix systems. You sell stories. Keanu's voice dropped to a whisper. Stories are how people survive. He looked at the audience. Empires fall. Technologies fade. but the stories we live by, those decide who we become. For the first time, the crowd applauded, not wildly, but enough to echo. Musk's tone hardened. You want idealism. I want progress. And I'm tired of pretending they're the same. Keanu nodded slowly. They're not the same. But one without the other is dangerous. Musk turned to the crowd. You know what stops progress? Sentimentality. People too afraid to break things. Too busy crying over history to build the future. Keanu stood up. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, controlled, but it silenced the room. He walked to the front of the stage. This future, everyone's chasing it. Can't just be fast. It has to be good, or it will destroy us from the inside out. He pointed to the crowd. How many people here have lost sleep, wondering if they'll still matter in 5 years? In a world of AI automation and algorithms, who gets to matter? No one answered. Technology should empower us, not replace us. It should lift people up, not erase their jobs, their dignity, their purpose. Musk interjected. That's fear talking. Keanu looked back. No, that's experience. That's listening to the people who never get a seat on this stage. A woman in the front row whispered to her husband. He's right. The host looked panicked. Okay, let's cool things down. Guys, final question. What's the one thing the world needs most right now? Elon leaned in. Voice clipped. Courage. The courage to disrupt, to go faster than fear. Keanu waited. Then said, softly, compassion. The kind that slows down. The kind that listens. The words hung there. One like thunder, the other like rain. And in that moment, the conflict wasn't just between two men. It was between two futures. The tension was no longer beneath the surface. It was visible now, in the shifting of bodies, the locked eyes. The way the audience had stopped checking their phones. No one was laughing anymore. Musk adjusted his microphone. I've built rockets, satellites, AI systems, whole ecosystems that function at scale. You think compassion runs a grid? You think it feeds 10 billion people? Keanu didn't flinch. Double quotes, no. But I think the absence of compassion is why people burn out, break down, and give up. Musk leaned forward. You can't code emotion. You can't structure society around hope. Keanu stepped closer, quiet but cutting. Then what's left? Machines that make decisions without conscience. Systems that erase the weakest for the sake of speed. Musk fired back, voice sharp now. Survival favors the strong. That's not cruelty. It's evolution. Keanu's voice didn't rise, but it deepened. Strength without empathy isn't evolution. It's regression. The audience stirred. Keanu turned to them. You want to know what scares me? Not AI, not automation, not Mars. A pause. What scares me is indifference. That we're becoming so efficient, so optimized, that we forget how to feel. His voice cracked slightly. That we'll build a perfect system and forget to include our souls. Musk crossed his arms. Emotion is noise. Progress needs signal. Keanu locked eyes with him. Without noise, there's no music. Musk stood, fast, intentional. The crowd gasped. He walked toward Keanu. Two men, face to face, not shouting, just standing there. The moderator whispered into her headset. Security moved discreetly to the edge of the stage. Musk spoke slowly. You know what your problem is, Keanu. You want the world to be something it never was. Gentle, fair, forgiving. Keanu's eyes didn't waver. I want the world to remember it can be silence. Not empty. Heavy, dense. Musk looked around the room. The cameras, the crowd. You're a dreamer. This world doesn't belong to dreamers. Keanu stepped forward. Maybe it should. He turned to the audience again. How many of you feel left behind? Pushed out by systems you didn't build, can't control, and aren't invited into? Hands raised, quietly, hesitantly. Then more. The energy shifted. Musk saw it. Keanu's words weren't just lines. They were wounds the audience recognized. We keep telling people they need to catch up. But maybe the system needs to slow down long enough to ask, who's hurting? Who's unseen? Who's worth more than their data? A man in the second row shouted, say that again. Keanu did. Who's worth more than their data? The crowd roared. Musk looked away. He knew what was happening. The stage was still his. But the room was hers now. And hers was compassion. Not code. Not conquest. But heart. And the world was watching. Keanu stood in silence for a moment. He wasn't triumphant. He wasn't smiling. Just present. The applause was slow at first, scattered, then rising, then thunderous. But he didn't raise his hands, didn't bow. He just looked at Elon one last time. There was no hate in his eyes, only a quiet ache. The kind that comes from watching a man with the power to change everything choose not to. Musk sat down, slowly, as if the weight of the room had finally reached him. The moderator stepped forward, trying to salvage order. Well, that was a passionate thank you both, truly, for a meaningful conversation. But the conversation was already bigger than the stage. Clips were going viral before the panel even ended. One headline read, "Keanu Reeves says what the world has been feeling." Another, "Elon Musk, and the moment compassion shut down power." News outlets scrambled for soundbites. Social media was flooded with quotes. But the real shift happened in living rooms, dorm rooms, boardrooms. People who had felt small, forgotten, suddenly felt seen. Not because Keanu offered solutions, but because he asked better questions. That didn't come from a place of control, but care. In the days that followed, something unusual happened. Tech conferences started inviting ethicists, poets, teachers, people without startups or stocks. Journalists began asking CEOs, not just, what will you build, but who will it serve? And quietly, slowly, conversations shifted. In the background, Elon stayed silent. No tweets, no interviews. Just a single message posted days later. Maybe the future needs both rockets and roots. Keanu never responded publicly. He didn't need to, because what mattered had already been said. Not screamed, not demanded, spoken with calm, with heart. He went back to filming his next movie, living simply, riding his motorcycle, drinking coffee, at the same quiet cafe in Silver Lake. But the world remembered. Not the panel, not the platform. The moment one man stood in front of power and reminded us all that humanity is not a weakness. It's the only strength worth building from. And in that silence, the future listened.